For more on this, we're joined by Michael Oren. He was Israel's ambassador to the United States. Ambassador, great to have you here. All right, puns aside and poly-market betting things aside, this clash between Greta's flotilla and the IDF could create an international incident. The British government has asked Israel to make sure nothing terrible happens to this group. What is the IDF prepared to do when this flotilla gets close to Gaza?
Good to be with you, Elizabeth. I mean, this should be our biggest problem. Okay, we're in the middle of a huge war in Gaza. We've got fighting going on in the north in Lebanon. We've got Houthi missiles aimed at Tel Aviv. I live in South Tel Aviv. Every night we run to a bomb shelter. We have the situation in Syria, which is very unstable, and we have the Iran nuclear issue. In the middle of this, Greta Thunberg coming with her boat. Okay, but let's address it. This is not the first flotilla Israel's have faced. Probably the most famous or infamous was in 2010, the Mavi Marmara, where our Navy SEALs tried to intercept a boat that was filled with very large, how should I say, thugs who were disguised as peace demonstrators. They, in fact, were Islamic extremists who were armed. And our Navy SEALs landed on these boats with paint guns, and they were set upon and beaten and stabbed and shot. So it was a real terrible incident. And they shot back, and they actually killed some. So
they had more than paint guns then?
No, they had pistols.
Okay.
They came down with sidearms, but mostly with paint guns. And so I think we learned a lesson from that. That if you're going
So what's the IDF going to do when they get close?
So
by the way, they call it the selfie flotilla. The whole thing seems ridiculous.
No, well, it's a publicity stunt, and for her, it's very good. It keeps her name in the news, all right? Maybe people aren't so thinking about climate change the way they used to, and she's used to having the international spotlight. So here she gets to maintain the international spotlight for a while. And of course, she's not bringing a flotilla to the Sudan, and she's not doing a flotilla to Congo or to other places where there are wars that are actually much bigger and much more destructive than that's going on in Gaza. Nothing about the Ukraine, nothing about the million Muslims put in concentration camps in China. She's not sending a flotilla there. She's sending it to Gaza. Okay, what is the Israeli Navy going to do? It's probably going to stop them. It's going to stop them by, getting boats to cut off their route.
And they'll make a big to-do out of it.
But I will tell you something that, I'm not a representative of the Israeli government anymore, and I'll just say my personal opinion is I think we should let her in.
Why?
First of all, there's no port in Gaza for her to
so
anchor.
She'd have to swim in.
She'd have to swim in, or go to Ashdod, which is where food from Gaza does come in. But attempts to deliver aid to Gaza, as you know, have all failed. The U.S. Navy tried to build a pier. It failed. The U.S. Air Force tried to airdrop. It failed. Because what goes on in Gaza is the minute you try to bring in aid, two things happen. Either other people, thousands of people will jump on the aid and make it impossible to distribute, but more likely Hamas will get it. And Hamas will take it at gunpoint. They'll shoot people who try to get the aid, as they shot about roughly 50, 60 people in the last week trying to get aid.
That's a little, that is disputed. And the IDF has released a statement saying that it did open fire, warning shots, and then shot at people when they didn't stop.
But nowhere near that area. Nowhere near that area. And I have it from my own information that Israel is no way culpable for those 50, 60 people. We actually had videos of Hamas people shooting Palestinians trying to get aid. So Hamas is going to take that aid. It's going to do two things with it. It's going to feed its own terrorists with that aid, and then it's going to sell it back to Palestinians at grossly inflated prices so that Hamas will enrich itself through the aid. So if Greta Thunberg wants to have that experience, she should be my guest. But again, I'm not a representative of the government.
Okay, I only have 10 seconds, but I do have to ask you about this plan right now to arm Abu Shabab, which is a gang inside Gaza that is opposed to Hamas. Critics inside Israel call this complete madness, the equivalent of arming ISIS in Gaza. Why is the Israeli government arming a gang inside Gaza?
Yeah, I can't defend it, but I'll explain it. And explain it as this is, if you arm people, Palestinians, who are opposed to Hamas, and some of these Palestinians are working for the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, which is what certainly the previous administration, the Biden administration, wanted Israel to do, to engage the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, then you are saving Israeli lives.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.